Hello students, welcome to Home Science class. In today's class, we will be studying about the chapter savings. That is the first chapter in the syllabus. It is termed as savings. So what are we studying in this chapter? We will be studying various things related to savings, like the definition, what is the need for saving, which are the various institutions where we can do savings, etc. So the first thing we are learning under here, this is the definition. So what comes to your mind when you think of saving? It might be for a future use, or it might be when we are in need. So there are various things where we have things or purposes for what we have to do savings. So for our future wants or to fulfill our daily requirements, we might need a very important resource in our life, that is termed as money. So money is very important to lead our daily life. Also, money is important to fulfill our needs, in which way we can have a good standard of living. So to make use of this money in a good way, we have to do savings. So savings is also needed for the national or for the good of the nation. Why it is required, why savings is required for the good of the nation is to increase the rate of capital or for the development of the country. So there are two things, that is either for the development of the country or for to increase the rate of capital in the country. So one reason, these are the two reasons why the savings is required for the nationwide. So moving on, what is the definition of saving? So savings can be defined as the abstinence from the present consumption for the purpose of future consumption. So abstinence means, the word abstinence is not indulging yourself in doing something particularly that is needed for the present. So for the present consumption, you are not spending the more of money and keeping it for the purpose of future consumption. There might be various needs. We as human beings will be having various needs, and to satisfy these needs of our family or ourselves or the society, that is we have various requirements, and to have a better standard of living, we will have to definitely do savings. That is, each one of you, might be it starting from the school students or the PU students or anybody in the family, is required to do savings. It might be from your small pocket money or your piggy bank, whatever money coins you get from your parents. It might be various sources where you are getting the money. So these small savings will lead to a huge amount, and it can be used for any of your future wants. So savings is income minus expenditure. So income might be in various forms, in the form of salaries or in the form of properties or any other form. Whatever money that we get is termed as income for the work whatever we are doing. Apart from income, what is expenditure? So expenditure is the thing, money that we spend for our various requirements. We have our various needs, that might be for the education or for buying a home or for purchasing of a car. There are various things that we human beings require. So as there are expenditure, the expenditure money will be spent from whatever income you are getting. So from the income, when you minus the expenditure from the money that you are getting, you are taking out, you are spending some of the money to fulfill your daily requirements. Once you fulfill your needs, there might be some money left. Okay, so the remaining money can be termed as savings. The money that we keep aside for our future need is termed as savings. Either we can keep away the money what is required for us initially. So we want to save some money, then we can keep the required money initially separately and then do the expenditure, then plan for the expenditure. Or else we can also spend the money, and then whatever remaining money is there, that can be kept as saving. So that is saving. That is saving our money for either for the future wants or any purpose in life. We can do saving. As I told earlier, saving is required in every stage of life. We have to do savings. So let us see what are the various needs for saving. So the first need is during the physical inability. As I told, there will be a person earning for the family. So if this person in future is not keeping well, okay, physical inability means if the person is ill or if the person is not keeping well, then who will earn for the family? Okay, if there is nobody able, or if the other people are not having the capacity to earn, that is to perform any work, or if there are children, then it won't be possible for others to earn. So the only person, that is the breadwinner of the family, is ill. At that time when there is emergency, the saved money can be used for the present consumption. That is, at that time whatever money they need to during the physical inability, whoever is not keeping well, to spend for their expenditure, this money what is saved earlier can be used. The second reason is reduce economic insecurity. So what is this economic insecurity? So during the age of during old age or during the time of retirement, okay, there will be during old age or during the age of retirement, the breadwinner of the family cannot earn for his family. So what happens at this time? The money that is saved earlier or during the time of his earnings, that is when earlier when the person was earning, he might have saved some money for the future consumption. So that money can be used during this time, that is during the economic insecurity, that is when the person is getting older or when he is not capable of working, or during his age of retirement when he is out from the job sitting at home. Then the money what is saved earlier can be used for the at that time for the various purposes to spend for them. There might be various reasons to spend. Also during emergencies, as we saw these points. Next, coming to during the time of emergencies. So what are the different kinds of emergencies? Unpredicted things which we don't know when something can happen. So these unpredicted things like emergencies, like if a family member has met with the accident, or there are any natural disasters or calamities when we cannot go out of the home for the job and earn for our daily living. So at this time also the saved money can be used for the present need, that is whatever was saved earlier can be used at this purpose for the things that has to be done at home or for any other reasons. Next is for education or for marriage or any other functioning happening at home or in the family, any function that is happening. There might be a marriage or any good functions that is happening which needs a bulk of money or huge amount of money. So the person who is performing this function can make use of the money that has been saved earlier itself. Also for various education. So as we all know that education requires lot of money, or initially from a small age we pay a lot and perform our education. So for this purpose also education and marriage, the saved money can be used. Next, for the purchase of various things that we need, or as I told earlier, for the requirement, that is to satisfy our needs, we can save money and then purchase. When we have saved enough money to purchase whatever we desire, we can make use of the money. That is, for example, for the purchase of a home or for the purchase of car or anything that we need to purchase which is costing more. So these are the things why we need to save money. It is the physical inability, reduce the economic insecurity, emergency, education, marriage or any other functionings happening at home, and for the purchase of various things to satisfy our needs like a home or a car, etc. As we have seen the need for savings here, we must also not only think of the future, we must also think of our present, that is the situation in which we are living, the income that we are spending for our present needs. So when we are keeping in mind of saving, or when we are thinking of the future, it should not be at the cost of our present needs, like it might be the nutritious food, a good home, or healthy living, or the clothes you want to purchase, or to satisfy your present needs. You must not make less in those things, but equally think of both the present situation and for the future situation. Also, by saving for the future, you can reinvest it and earn more the money. By savings in various institutions, you can also earn money by doing saving. So, this was just the introduction of saving and also why we need to save money. So, next we will be learning about saving institutions. So, which are the various institutions which help us to save money? So, here we will be learning about the 4 institutions, that is bank, LIC, post office and chit funds. These are the various forms through which we can save money. That is, once again, bank, LIC, post office and chit funds. So, in detail we will be seeing the 4 things, that is how we can make savings by using these various institutions or in each of the institutions. So, let us learn what is a bank. So, a bank is a financial institution which does business by taking charge of people's money and also lending them back when needed. So, this institution helps us to save money, and also we can be very sure that our money is in the safe hands. So, how do we do savings in a bank? So, to do the savings in a bank, we will have to open an account. That is, opening an account is a very necessary thing to do when we want to save money in the bank. So, there are various types of accounts that we will be talking about it later. So, initially when we open the account, there are as I told the different types of accounts. We will be getting a passbook, a checkbook. So, what is this passbook? So, a passbook is a book given by the bank to maintain the proper withdrawals and the proper deposits done by us. So, what is this? Deposit and withdrawal. Okay. So, deposit means the act of putting the money to the bank. Whenever we want to save money, we will be depositing the money. That is an act of putting money to the bank. So, what is withdrawal? What is withdrawal? Withdrawal is an act of taking money from the bank. So, deposit is an act of putting the money to the bank, and whenever we are in need of the money, we can withdraw the money from the bank. So, on account, when we open an account, we will be getting the passbook. So, this book is maintained to keep the record of the deposits and the withdrawals done by an individual in his account. Also, a checkbook will be provided which will be having the leaflets of check. So, this checkbook is required to transfer the money or to it might be used to transfer the money from one account to other, or also when we want to withdraw money from our account, we can use this checkbooks. What is cross check? So, a cross check is, so generally you can see the check will be in this form. So, cross check will be having 2 diagonal lines at the left end. Okay, there will be 2 diagonal lines at the top corner. So, whoever is writing the check, that is when we have to fill the needs, that is whatever the name and all. So, to give a check, we have to put 2 diagonal lines. So, if the check is having the 2 diagonal lines, that is if the person whoever wants to give the check has put 2 lines at the top, that is diagonal lines at the top, that means it is a cross check. So, this cross check will be used to transfer the money from one bank holder to the account of the other bank holder, that is from one bank of a person, that is either might be, there are various types of banks. So, from one bank to transfer the money to other bank, we need the cross check, so that there is no any faulty withdrawals or no faulty deposits done. So, that is the need of the cross check. Once again, cross check will be having the two diagonal lines which will not be present in the normal check. So two diagonal lines will be there, between that account payee will be written. Account payee can be written. So this cross check is used to transfer the money from one account to the other account of the different bank. So there is no any fault withdrawals done or faulty deposits done. So this diagonal lines are put on the check. Okay, along with providing this bank, along with providing us to save money or to make deposits or to withdraw our money, it also allows loan. That is, it also lends some amount of money to us, okay, for which we will have to pay interest later. So this lending money, when the bank gives us money, it is termed as loans. So loan is provided by the bank to us, for which the bank will be giving some interest, that is the extra money we will have to pay for the sum of the whole. So interest will be paid later by us towards the bank. So interest is the extra money that we are paying towards the bank for the sum of the whole money that they have lent us. So the bank is the financial institution which helps us to save money, and also we can make deposits when we want to save money, and also we can withdraw money whenever there is various kinds of needs. Along with providing the money or with helping us to save and save money, it also provides us loans. That is, it can give us the sum of some amount for us whenever we are in a huge need. That is, whenever we want to purchase a house or any huge payments when we have to do, when we don't have money, the bank can lend us some loan, that is a huge amount, for which we will have to pay the interest later. So next, whenever we want to make this we want to take this use this banking institution, we will have to open a account and make the deposits in the various forms. So next we will be seeing which are the kinds of deposits that will help us to save money. So we have seen the various types of saving institution, that is bank, LIC, chit fund and post office. Also we have just seen what is a bank. So a bank is a financial institution which not only helps us to save money but also lends us loan when required. And to save money in a bank, that is the saving institution, we will have to open a account. So coming next, what are the different types of deposits? To open an account, what kind of account can be opened to make the type of saving that we want? So there are four types of deposits, or the four types of account that we can open. That is the current account, saving account, fixed deposits and recurring deposit. So there are four types of saving accounts that the deposits that we can make. So coming to the first type of account, that is the current account. So this current account is mainly handled by the business section people. So why is this handled by the business section people? Is because they need to make the large capital. As they require large capital, that is, they will be making deposits or withdrawals with a huge amount of money. That is, this account can be handled by the business sections, since it requires, this type of account requires a huge capital. So since the businessman people are leading with a huge number of account, that is, they might be depositing a huge amount or they might have to withdraw a huge amount. So they have to make, initially while opening an account, they will have to pay at least rupees 5,000 to make the deposit. That is, to open an account, they will have to make a deposit of rupees 5,000, after which they can make any number of deposits or any number of withdrawals, but they have to see that they maintain a standard amount, that is, at least a minimum amount is maintained in the account. That is, when initially 5,000 they have to deposit, later on they can make any number of deposits that might be of any amount, and also they can make any number of withdrawals, but while making the withdrawal they have to keep in mind that at least a minimum account is remaining in their balance, that is in the current account which is meant for business sections. So what is the benefit that the business account will be getting here is, as I told, they can make various type of withdrawals and deposit, but this account will not be having interest. There will be no interest paid to the current account. But one good advantage is overdraft facility. So what is this overdraft facility? So even though the person, for example, now a person might be having 2 lakh in his account, but he requires more than that. So this type of account pays him the account than what is there in his bank account, that is might be in the term of approval loan. So overdraft facility is withdrawing money than the money that is there in our account. So if a person is having around 2 lakhs in his account, in the current account, but he needs more money, that is more amount, that is around 3 lakhs, he can approve this facility, that is the overdraft facility. He can ask the loan in the form of overdraft facility, where the bank will take it as a loan and provide you the extra money that you need. So this overdraft facility is the agreement that is made with the bank to get the extra money that we need. This is in terms of a approved loan. As we discussed about the loan for which we will be paying interest later, loan is nothing but the bank will be lending us money when in need, and we will have to pay interest later on according to the sum of money that the bank has given us. So this is all about the current account. Once again, current account is handled by business sections. Why it is handled by business section is because they deal with the huge amount of money. This huge amount of money, so when they are dealing with huge amount of money, they will have to make a lot of deposits or withdrawals. So this is a suitable type of account they can deal with. But the thing they have to keep in mind is there is no interest, but the facility which is advantage is the overdraft facility. So moving on to the saving account. So saving account can be used by individuals who are having the normal salary, or any person who wants to make a small saving, that is in your daily life, whatever we are earning or whatever income we are getting, to make the saving according to our needs, the saving account can be used. So this is the account which helps people, which helps or encourages saving to the people. As I told, the normal people who are making any of the income or who are earning any income can make this kind of deposit, as this kind of deposit or the saving account helps us to save money, that is it encourages us to save money. So let us see what are the benefits or the characteristics of saving account. So initially, while making the opening an account, we will have to make a deposit that is around 500 rupees or 1000 rupees. So the deposits or the maintaining of the amount that is in the bank might vary between various banks. So as in now in India, there are various number of banks, the nationalized banks or the state, according to the state, or the corporation banks. There are various organizations again in the bank. So under this banks also, the initial deposit made or the money that has to be maintained during the withdrawals, there might be variation. So in this kind of saving account, you can make deposit by or may open an account by depositing around 500 rupees, and later on you can be making any number of deposits, but withdrawals are a kind of restricted, that is you can make withdrawals anytime, but we have to see that we maintain at least rupees 1000. Okay, there might be some restrictions towards the withdrawals according to the rule of the bank, that might vary between the banks, but maintaining rupees 1000 in the bank is compulsory in most of the banks. Also, the advantage of the saving account is the interest. There is a small interest that is gained to our money that we are saving in the bank, and this might be calculated for the month of 6 months. So it is a small amount of interest that will be gained. This saving account will gain a small amount of interest, which might be calculated for about 6 months, or for it might be a 6% interest or 4% interest, varying between the banks. So in this type of account, we will be getting a passbook, or we can claim for the checkbook. So this passbook which will help us to make the records. The bank will keep the records of the number of deposits done or the number of withdrawals done. So saving account is used by the normal people to make a small amount of saving, it might be, or a huge amount of saving, it might be. So it provides a passbook, it gives us interest, and we can make any number of deposits whenever we have money to save our money. But make sure that there is at least ₹1000 maintained in your bank, and the bank account is not nil. That is, it should not be, the bank account should not be nil. So moving on to the fixed deposits. What is this fixed deposit? So here in this two types of accounts, that is the deposits that we are making, could be at any time, isn't it? So here the deposit could be at any time, also the withdrawals could be made. But there is something different between these two kinds of deposits, that is fixed deposits and recurring deposit. So let us see what is the difference here. So before going to that, let us just discuss the difference between these two type of account. So current account, it is handled by business section, whereas saving account, it is handled by the general people who want to make a small saving, it might be. So since it is dealt with the business section, it deals with the large capital, whereas here it is just encouraging people to have savings or to do saving, and any number, it might be a small amount or a huge amount. It doesn't matter whether it is a huge, it is not a need that you must make the deposit of a huge amount only. Here there is no interest, whereas here there is interest, and the one facility that is provided there is overdraft facility, which may not be provided here, but there might be other types of loans available in the bank which we can claim for. So that was the difference here. Next, moving on to the fixed deposits. So what is fixed deposit? As the name indicates, the fixed deposits is depositing the money for a specific period of time. Okay, so fixed deposit is making deposit which will be for a specific period of time without any withdrawal. So once the money is deposited, so here it earns interest in the than that of the saving bank account. So here fixed deposit is done, that is here we have to do deposit for it might be a plan of 1 year or a plan of 2 years. So initially the bulk amount has to be paid towards the bank. When we want to make huge savings, we can make use of the saving fixed deposit account. So we will have to deposit the money initially, that is if you want to save around 1 lakh, you can deposit 1 lakh to the fixed deposit. So this 1 lakh cannot be withdrawn until the end of the specific period of time. That is, if you are keeping it for 1 year, if the plan is for 1 year, until 1 year you won't be able to withdraw that money. So hence it is named as fixed deposit. So fixed deposit, as the name indicates, it is the deposit made by the account holder for a specific period of time. But one good advantage of this account is, the longer we keep the money, the longer the plan is, that is might be 1 year or the 2 year, the more will be the interest. In case there is a emergency, that is we need money to be withdrawn earlier than the concluding of the plan, that is before 1 year, if we want to remove the money, we can do so by contacting the bank, by talking to the various people in the bank, but the interest might be lowered. Okay, we won't be getting the same interest that had to be got by the end of 1 year, but we will be getting less interest. So we have to see that we at least try to maintain until the whole plan is over. So at the end of the term, that is at the end of the plan, we will be getting the interest I told. So the interest that we are getting at the end of the term is called as term deposit scheme. The interest that we are getting at the end of the year. Okay, so the interest will be paid to the depositor, that is whoever is depositing the money, and that is called as term deposit scheme. On the other hand, if the person doesn't want to take the deposit, withdraw money at the end of the plan, but he wants to continue, at that time he will be getting a compound interest on the term deposit scheme interest also, and that will be termed as special term deposit scheme. So if we are at the end of the plan, that is at the end of 1 year or 5 years, whatever the plan might be, that for the time period, the specific period we are keeping the money in the bank. So at this time, at the end of the year, we will be getting the interest. So this interest is called as term deposit scheme. In case you don't want to end the plan but want to continue with it, the interest will be termed. So the interest will again be carried out, and that will be the compound interest, again carried out interest will be the compound interest, and it can be termed as special term deposit scheme. One more thing you have to keep in mind is FDR. So this type of deposit, so initially when we are making a deposit, FDR, that is fixed deposit receipt, will be given to us, in which all the details like our name, how much amount we are depositing, or our address, and such details will be filled in the fixed deposit receipt. And at the end of the term, that is at the end of the period, that is the specific period when we want to gain back our withdraw the money, this receipt, that is the fixed deposit receipt, has to be showed to the bank, which has to be signed by the manager, and then we can claim back our money. So this is the thing you have to keep in mind as FDR, which means fixed deposit receipt. Fixed deposit receipt. So there will be neither the checkbook nor the passbook, but only the FDR, that is fixed deposit receipt, in which all the details will be given initially when you are making the deposit, and while the time when you want to claim back your account, that is at the end of the term, when you want to claim back the account, you can show this FDR to the bank, get it signed by the manager, and claim back your account. So that is about the fixed deposit. So in this deposit, it is per year. Initially you are making the payment, and that will be in the bank for a specific period of time. It is not that you can make the deposits every time whenever you wish. Only once the deposit can be made, and when the time is over, that is when the term or the specific period is over, you will be getting the interest. So next thing is the recurring deposit. So it is somewhat similar to that of the fixed deposit. The difference here is you will be making the deposit every month, not once in a year, but you will be making deposit every year. Other than that, all the things are similar to fixed deposit. You will be making the deposit every month. For example, if it is of your plan is of 5,000 per 1 year. Okay, your plan might be of 5,000 for 1 year. So every year, month, you will be having to deposit 5,000 rupees to the bank. But the restriction is you will not be able to withdraw the money until the plan is over. That is for 1 year if the plan is, you will not be able to withdraw the money unless there is any circumstances or any emergencies, for again which you will be having to talk to the management of the bank and then get it back. So here also there will be interest paid, that is every month when you are paying the money, it will be carried out and the interest will be paid for that the same money. But you can withdraw the money only when the specific time is done. Also here there will be no FDR, but a passbook is maintained. Why this passbook is given here under recurring deposit is because we will be making the deposit every month. Okay, so when every month the deposit is made, there should be a record maintained. It cannot be maintained in the receipt since it is every month. It will be maintained in the passbook itself, that is the number of deposits, that is every month when we are making the deposit, it will be maintained or it will be recorded in the passbook itself. Also, there will be no checks provided when the account, when the term is over, they can show the passbook and the other requirements and claim their money back. So, interest will be earned for the every month whatever deposit they are making, the whole interest will be given to this account unless you withdraw the money earlier than the expiry of the plan. So, in both terms there will be good interest claimed by the depositor unless he doesn't, since it is for a specific period of time. In case the depositor wants to withdraw the money, then the interest rate will be less. So, why this recurring deposit is used for generally by the normal people? How it helps? So, if you check the 4 types of deposit, the recurring deposit will be helping in 2 reasons. That is, one is you can make savings every month, you can make the deposit. So, it also help us to make a good saving, and also it claims interest for the saving that we are doing. No other account is helping us to make the saving in this way, how the recurring deposit is helping us. Here it might be a huge amount. So, a normal people or a general people who are having less amount, less income can choose this type of saving, since the interest earned is also more, and for a period, since it is every month, they can make they can choose a small plan which will be having to pay every month. Hence, we can make savings also and also gain interest. So, recurring deposit is one of the type of deposit that is chosen by the normal people or by the middle income group or the low income group to make savings. So, these were the types of the various types of 4 kinds of deposits, that is current account, saving account, fixed deposit and recurring deposit. So, next institution that we are going to learn is LIC. So, LIC means Life Insurance Corporation of India. This is another institution which is widely adopted by the people and also it is acknowledged by the people. So, a widely used institution around India is LIC. So, LIC helps us to think of our future and also various needs in the future. So, this was originally devised in order to provide the financial protection for the dependents of the family of an individual. So, to think about the financial protection of the family and any other person in the family, this scheme was initially organized. So, contract between the insured and the insurance company is termed as LIC. So, contract is signed, there is a contract, this is a contract between the insured, that is a person who wants to save money, and the insurance company. Okay. So, it will be a contract where it is between the insured, that is the person who wants to save money, it might be you, me or any other person. So, insured, that person is termed as insured, and the insurance company. Okay, this insurance company is government owned, that is the corporation is linked with the government, and hence we can be very sure about the safety of our money. So, to decide for the future need, that is for the financial protection if there is the death of any earning member, that is the breadwinner, then what will we do, how will be the condition of the family. So, what a person can do is he can think of the future and then start planning by using this life insurance corporation, that is after his death the money that he has saved will belong to the that will belong to the family. Okay, so since it is a contract, the money can then belong to the person whoever is the nominee of him. So, the contract that is signed is called as policy, that is the contract which is signed between the insured person and the insurance company is called as policy. And this, what happens here? So a person will have to pay, that is the insured person will be making the payment, either it can be monthly or it can be annually for a sum of some time. Okay, so this time can be for many years. It can be a life policy or endowment policy. We'll see what is that later, but the payment can be done for many years as the plan exists. There are various types of plans, and according to the plan the payment can be made. So the periodic payment, for how long we are paying, that is called as premium. Okay, so that is the contract between the insured and the insurance company, and the contract is termed as policy, whereas the periodical payment, that is for how long we are making the payment, that is called as premium. So the main advantage or the main importance of LIC is for the financial protection of the family member, that is in the future if there is the death of anyone or any future plans, that is might be any endowment policies, or for any of the contingencies we want to use money, then it can be LIC can provide us the money. So the savings can be done either monthly or it is a term that which helps us to do the savings. Either it can be monthly, annually or quarterly, either for the month of for the time being of 2 months, 3 months. So there are various plans provided by this corporation, and we can make according to our capacity, that is how much we want to save or what is our earning. According to that we can choose a plan and then make the savings. Life Insurance Corporation has got various plans, that is LIC has got various plans, out of which one is the life policy and another one is the endowment policy. So this life policy, the payment can be done for the way according to the suitable or the according to the capacity of the person. So the rate of the premium here will depend upon the age, the sum of money insured, that is the person who is making the payment, the sum of the money, for how much money he is making the payment, and for the plan, for how long the payment, that is the periodical payment, that is the premium is going for. It is for, might be for half a year or for 2 years, or how the payment is done. So life policy will depend upon the age, sum of the money that is paid, that is how much payment he is doing, and for the how longer time he will have to be paid. So in life policy the proceeds are payable on the death of the insured. So whatever payment is done, it will be gained back by the at the time of the death of the insured person. So it is a life, so it is termed as life policy. What is endowment policy? Endowment policy is for the future plans, that might be for the marriage or for the education. So whenever a parent is saving money for the child, so when the child this plan becomes mature when the child is of certain age. So these are the two policies of LIC, that is one is the life policy, another one is the endowment policy. Life policy is for the person who can claim the money when he is at for the need for the money, and the proceeds will be payable when he is dead. Whereas the endowment policy will become mature, that is the policy will become mature at the age of when we want for the education or for the function, that might be for building a house or might be marriage, etc. So these are the two types of policy. Along with this there are various policies like Grihalakshmi, Jeevan Dhara, whole life insurance, term insurance. So according to our capacity, what kind of saving we want to do, either it might be for a girl child or for to build a home like Grihalakshmi. So these are the various policies provided by Life Insurance Corporation. So the next type of institution we are talking about is post office. So we all might have heard about sending letters or receiving letters through post office, but saving money in post office might be new to all. But post office was one of the oldest saving institution that had come into existence in India in 1854. So it is about 166 years now, and oldest institution that helps us to save money. So while banking institutions, whichever we see now, might be in the towns or in the for the savings to be performed at the, it might be restricted only towards the bigger towns, but in rural areas we may not find banks or the where different types of deposits that can be made in the bank. So post office is organized or set up in every rural area so that the local people find it safe to save their money. Since the local people living there in rural area find it difficult to come to the town and make savings or make their deposits whenever they have money, in rural area the post office has been set up to make savings for the common people. For them it is the most convenient and the approachable method so that they can save money according to their capacity. So how post office helps us to save money? Similar like that of the bank, here also we will have to open an account, but here the sum of rupees that has to be deposited initially is rupees 50. Earlier it was back then it was rupees 25 rupees, but now it has been revised to rupees 50. So the deposit can be made at any time, but withdrawals are restricted once a week, or the withdrawal can be made only once a week. So saving institution which helps us to save money, with just rupees 50 we can open an account and then make the deposit. The maximum amount that can be kept in our account is 1,25,000, not more than that, and we can save money up till 1,25,000, but not proceeding more than that. Also, the one great advantage of this post office which helps us to save money is it is exempted from the income tax. Same like that of the banks, here there are also cumulative term deposit and also recurring deposit. So cumulative term deposit, it is for the time period of 10 years where the deposits can be made and interest can be earned, and the recurring deposit is for 5 years. So we have already seen what is recurring deposit. So every month until the period of 5 years, here in the post office it is for 5 years. So post office provides with the cumulative term deposit and recurring term deposit. Cumulative term deposit is for 10 years and recurring deposit is for 5 years. So this facility which is owned up by the government helps us to save money according to our capacity. So the next thing that institution which helps us to save money is chit funds. So same like that of the post office, chit funds also is the old and the most popular type of saving. So this in particular does not have an organization or any management, but group of people come together to make some savings. Let us see how this works. So as we told, it is the most popular and it encourages people to save money. So a group of people might be a family, friends or colleagues or anybody who wants to save money come together. They make a small organization and they have to organize, this organization has to be registered with the government. So what happens here is it can be for a plan that is made by the group of people for the purpose of saving, that is according to our capacity, according to the income that we are having, we can make deposit here, savings here. So if it is a plan for 1 year, if it is a plan for 1 year, every month the payment has to be done. So all the individuals, so if it is the example of a family, so we take around 12 people. If you are taking 12 people, all the 12 people will have to, that is the people who are interested. So if when we are organizing a group, the people who want to save money, they are approached and a group is made, and if a group is consisting of 12 people, they will have to make the payment every month. Okay, either it can be month wise or week wise, or for 10 days or every 10 days, like that, for a certain period of time. That is, if the plan is for 1 year, they can make the payment every month. So sum of money that will be planned by the organization, that is either it might be 2000, 1000. So every individual, that is the 12 individual which is set up by the organization, will be paying 1000, or as it is planned by the group. So every month they will be paying, and whenever required they can get the lump sum money. So that is how chit funds work. It is not organized by any institution, but a group of people come together to encourage people to save money. So saving is done here by paying money every month, and the promoter, that is the person who is making this, has initially organized this, can keep a profit for himself by the first payment. Whatever they are making, that can be kept for himself, and then the payment can be, a lump sum payment can be collected, and whoever is need in the group can be paid, or it can be given in the form of lottery chit or auction chit. So the two types of chit funds here we are learning is the lottery chit and the auction chit. So chit fund is nothing but making savings according to the capacity of the people, that is every month or every week certain amount can be paid to the organization, and it can be in the organization, but this organization has to be registered with the government, since there must not be any faulty advantages taken by anybody. So this has to be registered with the government. So what happens under lottery chit and auction chit is, as the plan will be the same, that is either group of people come together, it might be a family or friends. So if the plan is for 1 year, they can either pay every month, that is every month 12 months they have to pay, or if it is for 6 months, every week or twice, monthly twice they can make the payment. So in lottery chit what happens is, they will make the payment like I told earlier, and every month all the names of the people who have paid will be written in a chit of paper, and one chit will be picked up by the organizer, and whosoever name is written in the chit, or whoever requires money, who is in immediate need of money, the lump sum money collected till that time will be given to him. That is the lottery chit. Either whoever is required in a need of money, either it will be paid to them, or either it will be chits will be picked in the group, that is the group of people come together and write their names in the chit, and the chit will be picked. Whosoever name will be written in the chit will be gaining the lump sum money. Lump sum money means the total money that has been collected. So it continues like this only. Next month the person who has got earlier, his name won't be written in a chit and the other's name will be written. So the next person will get a chance to get the money. So it is a very normal way in which we can do saving, and whoever is in a need can get the lump sum money, or the total amount can be saved for earlier, for the future, to make the requirement need. So next is the auction chit. Auction chit is same, the plan will be the same, that is group of people come together and they make the payment every month. So here the auction will be called out, and the one who the person who bids the highest discount for the auction. So the auction, whoever bids the highest discount, or the person who makes the highest discount will be gaining the money of that month, but he will be exempted from the he will be making the payments every month. Even in the lottery chit, the payment has to be done every month. Even though this month we get the lump sum money, the payment that has to be done has to be continued. but the name that has to be written or the exemption from the auction will be there, so that the same person doesn't continue to get the money, and every person or every individual gets the chance to get the lump sum money for which they have done the saving. So this is one of the simple way in which we can do the savings depending upon the people we know and around how the organization works with the safety of the money. So chit fund is the simplest form of saving money in two forms. One is the lottery chit and the auction chit. The money will be saved every month or paid to a organizer every month. In lottery chit, chit written with names will be picked up, whereas in auction chit, auction will be called out and whoever bids the lowest discount will be getting the money. But whoever gets this month, that is if the person is getting on the first month, that is the January, if one person gets, he will be exempted from getting the cash the next month, but he will be continuing to pay the money. Okay, that is about chit funds. So we have completed 4 types of saving institutions, that is bank, LIC, post office, and the last one is the chit funds. So summarizing the chapter, saving is a very good habit. We might be in need of money. The resource money might be very needed for us in the present or future, or any emergency that might be. So saving is always a good habit, may it be a smaller amount or a huger amount. We are having various institutions around us which helps us to save money. We have to see that we save, we plan for the betterment of our family and save in a good organization which is suitable for our income. So according to the need of us, that is every individual might have various requirements or various needs or to satisfy the various needs. So according to the need of the person, he can make the saving according to his capacity. Okay, thank you.